Hi everybody, Rory Johnston with you here on Open Line on a Thursday night. Thanks for tuning in to News Channel 5 Plus. We always appreciate it. It is Open Line, and that means we open up our phone line so you can join in the discussion. Thursday night typically here is Ask the Expert. Tonight we do have an expert on women's health issues, so we'd like you to join in and call. And we welcome Karen Hayden, a health nurse practitioner with Wellness Solutions. Karen, so good to see you. Thanks for coming. Don't switch away, because you need to know about these things.
That's right.
First of all, thinking about this topic, Karen, it seems to me in the media and generally, we hear a lot about men's health issues.
Sure.
And we don't necessarily hear an awful lot about women's health issues, which doesn't make sense to me because men typically tune it out. They don't go to the doctor when they should. We know all of the studies that have shown men just kind of ignore symptoms and all of that. When women seem to be reading up on these things, they go to their practitioners regularly, ask the right questions.
Absolutely.
Why isn't there more information or more discussion, do you think?
I don't know. Maybe we're trying to get more men to pay attention to their health.
Right.
Yeah, I would say. But most of my patients are women. I do have some male patients, but most of them are women. And I do more of an integrated approach to wellness. So I do women's health, I do balancing, I do nutrition, insomnia, depression, anxiety. A lot of the women that come to see us at Wellness Solutions are dealing with just high stress levels that are kind of causing everything to be off balance for them.
Are you surprised at the number of people who are out there, and these are just the people who are actually taking action and coming to see you, but the society that we live in today, it's just like we're running on that hamster wheel, I call the gerbil wheel. You know, it's burning the candle at both ends, especially women who are, some of them trying to do the career, do the mom thing. It's spinning so many plates, it can be really frustrating.
It really can be, and I've been a stay-at-home mom and I've been the career mom, and I think what I find is most women come in feeling like they're going crazy, feeling like they can't sleep, they have no energy, they're frustrated because they don't have the patience level with their kids that they really want to have, and they feel like they've done something wrong. But when I get them to really start telling their story and what's going on in their life, they realize that they do have a whole lot on their plate, and we usually just kind of come together and come up with a plan for them to be able to manage their stress better, maybe take some things off their plate that doesn't need to be there. But when they do that, what they find is that their body is able to heal and function much better. So
it's interesting that you say tell their story. Why is it important for you, instead of just going right to the medical part, to actually sit and listen to the story?
Amen. And I'm glad you asked me that. My approach is more like a conversation with the patients. I get a really detailed history on them, a medical history, and then I do want to know what they do in their daily life. I want to know what their stressors are. I want to know who's depending on them. And then that helps me know where to go as far as what testing to do, what supplements. We use pharmaceutical grade supplements to treat a lot of patients, what to use there. If we also have a great psychotherapy team and psych nurse practitioners at Wellness Solutions too. So if I feel like I've come upon a woman who really might need some acute care or some talk counseling or talk therapy, then we work really well together as a good collaborative team to work with each patient, male and female. But it's really important to know their story, so then you understand what you're working with and what you need to work on the most and in what order. A lot of times, if you can just get them sleeping and get the stress level down a little bit, you basically are quieting the noise in their body, get them on a really good diet, get them sleep, get them to pay attention to themselves and get a little bit of exercise in. You notice all kinds of symptoms start to disappear.
How important is sleep?
Sleep is so important. Sleep is when the body heals and regenerates. If you're not sleeping, your cortisol levels stay higher throughout the day, which then you start to experience weight gain and fatigue and chronic stress. And when you have chronic stress, you start to experience things like insulin resistance, because the receptor sites become not as sensitive as they would be if you were getting sleep and you weren't under chronic stress. You start to see thyroid dysfunction. When thyroid starts to be dysfunctional, then you have fatigue, you have weight gain, depression, insomnia, a whole slew of problems really. But the adrenals are what really take a hit when you're not sleeping through the night, because your adrenals control your circadian rhythm. So you should get a good cortisol spike in the morning, should taper off slowly throughout the day and hit bottom levels at night so you can sleep. When you're not sleeping, it produces chronic stress for your body, and then your circadian rhythm will actually flip-flop. and we get a lot of the tired and wired patients.
So what do you tell a patient who says, I just don't have time to, there's so much to do
Sure.
that, and by the time I go to bed, I'm so wired up, it's hard to fall asleep.
Oh, sure. Yeah, and that is a reality for a lot of people. So what I typically do is try to get them to start going to bed at a good time, start winding down. Like I said, we use pharmaceutical grade supplements. So there are quite a few supplements that I use to help calm the mind and calm the body and help them start to reach that state. A lot of people, especially women, their progesterone level starts dropping off first when they enter perimenopause and menopause, and progesterone is the one that's really calming on the brain function, helps with anxiety. So of course I would do lab levels to check that and just
Right.
kind of look at the menstrual cycle and see if there's anything going on there that we need to right. But typically try to get them on a good sleep schedule. Try to have them, I look at the diet and what is it that they're eating maybe before bedtime.
That's got to be huge as well,
That's
obviously.
huge, yes.
What you're putting into your body.
It's number one. If
Yeah.
I have a patient that comes to me, I don't care what their problem is, and every patient is fun for me because they're all like a puzzle. So
Right.
each one, I take all the pieces and kind of say, okay, this is what we're working with, this is where we're missing pieces. But to get them to be able to focus on what they're putting in their body is key. We, on average, eat about 2,000 pounds of food a year. And right now, fast food, of course, is a big problem. And in fast food, there's hardly any food left. It's a lot of chemicals and fillers and genetically modified food at that. So if people start to eat more whole foods, things that actually give the body nourishment, which is what food is really meant to be, is medicine for the body, then they'll notice that their brain works better, that they have less inflammation, that their body is detoxing properly. They're not going to have inflammation and weight gain. They're going to handle stressors much better. So diet is always where I start with a patient.